Harry and Meghan greeted by some eye rolls and exasperated sighs as they hit New York for the first time since the near-catastrophic car chase.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the King YouTube channel.
After quite the build-up over the past few weeks, we have found out that Meghan and Harry are finally in New York. Yesterday, Meghan and Harry showed up in New York, and they were greeted by what I can only assume were people rolling their eyes and heaving exasperated sighs, because seriously, how else could you respond to those two coming to your city? But anyway, as their PR teams made sure to tell us at least 100 times over the past few weeks, Meghan and Harry came to New York as part of World Mental Health Day. They're hosting some event. I guess Archwell finally decided they needed to do something rather than take everybody's money. So this is going to be the first in-person Archwell event. The event is focused on talking to families who have lost their children as a result of social media, so they're focusing on the effects that social media has on the mental health of young people. We also reported previously it's going to be some type of panel discussion, and Carson Daly is going to be the moderator. Naturally, Daily Mail is on top of this story, so let's talk about the article that they posted. All right, so the title is, Meghan Markle Bares Her Shoulders in an Elegant White Blazer as she and Prince Harry host World Mental Health Day event in New York. After arriving at the venue in a 7-vehicle convoy with NYPD escort, 5 months after near-catastrophic car chase. Well then, what an interesting title. Sounds like it was written by Madame Markle herself. All right, so first of all, Meghan Markle bares her shoulders in an elegant white blazer. If you look at the pictures, I don't believe we should call that an elegant white blazer. First of all, I couldn't even tell it was a blazer. I saw somebody online calling it which I think is a much better description. And after all, this is a panel discussion about mental health, so it makes sense, right? We shouldn't laugh at Meghan. She's just trying to stick to a theme, guys. And they arrived in a 7-vehicle convoy. My goodness, I had no idea that it takes 7 vehicles to carry 2 idiots around. But to be fair, how is anybody going to know that you're important if you don't roll around the city in a 7-vehicle convoy? I mean, somebody might get confused and think that they're just a couple of useless nobodies. Can't let that happen. I'm a little disappointed that they agreed to let Meghan and Harry have an NYPD escort. I thought they had learned their lesson after what happened last time, but who knows? Maybe Meghan and Harry threatened to cause an even bigger scene if they didn't give them at least one escort. Because remember, Meghan and Harry are very, very important people, and they can't be seen going around the city without an escort. So this article mentions several times that this is the first time Harry and Meghan have gone back to New York after that near-catastrophic car chase. We need to be reminded they are very brave, but since they're very, very important people, they also have to do some very important things. So that's why they just had to come back. Let's talk about the very, very important things those two had to do. According to this article in the Daily Mail, the couple were all smiles as they arrived at the venue. However, they appeared to get emotional once the event kicked off, with both seen looking incredibly somber as the panel commenced, with parents who have suffered tragic loss connected to their child's social media use taking to the stage to share their stories. In the photos I saw, Harry didn't look too happy even from the beginning. Meghan had her usual rictus grin plastered across her face. If that's what happiness looks like, well yes, then I guess she was thrilled, but we're just going to have to take their word for it. And as we reported earlier, Meghan and Harry have been working with these parents for a long time. They've been working behind the scenes in order to create a community of shared experiences. So what exactly was Harry and Meghan's role in this creation of a community of shared experiences? Well, we don't find out. Probably because they didn't do anything at all, but that's just speculation on our part. So they did let the parents speak for a little while. We don't know how long, probably all of about 5 minutes before Duchess Sharkle had had more than enough and she just had to get up there and talk. After all, you can't expect her to listen to other people for too long. She's got too much to say, too many things we need to hear. We learned that Harry and Meghan were left in tears by some of the stories shared by the parents when they first met. She says, a year ago when we met some of the families, not all of them, it was impossible to not be in tears, as I'm sure so many of you have been today hearing these stories. Is she talking about a single crocodile tear squeezed out of her left eye? Probably. But anyway, she goes on to say, you can hear these stories again and again and again, and it's still going to have the same emotional impact because it's just that devastating. Oh, really, Meghan? Well, what about all those sugars you pay to go online and harass and bully the Wales family and people who dare to disagree with you and Harry and call you out on your BS? Are somehow the victims of your paid trolls not devastated? And of course, what would a Meghan Markle speech be without mention of the invisible children and some delicious word salad? So then Meghan says, as parents, though our kids are really young, they're 2.5 and 4.5, but social media is not going away. I think by design, there was an entry point that was supposed to be positive in creating community, and something has devolved. And there's no way to hear that and not try to help these families have their stories be heard. Oh, I see some of her favorite buzzwords were thrown in. Community, devolved. Oh, yes, she wrote this one all by herself. And my favorite part, so this was in a video, I guess this wasn't in the live speech. So Meghan went on to describe her role as a mother as the most important thing in her life, outside of being a wife to this one, she says. She can't even use his name anymore. So you guys, I don't think we have to wonder anymore if things are really over or not between those two. If Madame can't even use Harry's name anymore, things are not looking good. She had so many options too. She could have called him Has, Harry, my husband. Even Harold would have been better than this one. But then the Daily Mail tells us Meghan went on to open up about her concerns with regard to their kids, Archie and Lilibet, using social media. So I guess this 2.5 and 4.5-year-old kids, which, by the way, I love how she thinks it's going to convince us those kids are real if she uses their exact ages, 4.5, 2.5. Last time I checked, though, the only people who use 4.5 and 2.5 would be 4.5-year-olds and 2.5-year-olds. But anyway, moving on. Meghan says, but I will say I feel fortunate that our children are at an age, again, quite young, so this isn't in our immediate future. But I also feel frightened by how it's continuing to change. And this will be in front of us. As they say, being a parent, the days are long, but the years are short. Oh, a useless platitude, thanks, Meghan. So it worries me, she continues, but I'm also given a lot of hope and a lot of energy by the progress we've made in the last year. Again, what is this woman even talking about? She is an expert in saying many, many words that contain no real meaning whatsoever. She needs to offer a class online on this or write a book about that. Hey, Meghan, I got an idea for you. Instead of writing a memoir, why don't you write a guide to writing word salad speeches? Now, that could really be a bestseller among aspiring narcissists out there. It also sounds like Meghan did some of her very awkward, uncomfortable hugging. We learned that she hugged a few of the speakers after they walked off the stage after speaking. Oh, who wouldn't love the feeling of those spindly arms just wrapping around their body? The equivalent of a limp, clammy handshake, if you will. And it looks like Harry and Meghan still are not letting go of that fake paparazzi car chase story, because they told the Daily Mail, you better include a recap of that fateful day when we were in a near-catastrophic car chase. Forget about the fact that it didn't actually happen. It's our truth, remember? They also included a brief mention of what Prince William and Catherine are doing, which is real work, but only a brief mention because you cannot risk overshadowing the gruesome twosome. So a short recap. Harry and Meghan show up to the event in a convoy of 7 vehicles. Meghan is wearing a straitjacket. Harry looks miserable. Meghan's grinning like a maniac. Meghan goes on to deliver a word salad nonsensical speech. The end. And you, what do you think about Meghan and Harry's event in New York? Please let me know below in the comments section. Before you go, don't forget to like and share this video with anybody else who would enjoy it.
Please don't forget to subscribe to our The King YouTube channel to get more updates in the future. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a lovely evening, and we'll be back to see you tomorrow. Bye. I love you all.